the time and space to give yourself a break. Here you'll find some love, music, laughter, and above all, she'll dare to tell the truth. And so come to Granny's place and give your spirit a big boost.
Welcome to Granny's Place, a haven for love, entertainment, and uncommon sense. I'm Sweet Baby James, and I'm here to introduce you to Granny Rocks, and also to today's ongoing theme of You Ask the Questions, and Granny provides the answers. But first, I'd like to share with you a little bit about Granny. Another name for her is Beth Green, an intuitively guided counselor with some 38 years of experience. She's been a longtime social activist and is the author of 6 books about human behavior. So I kind of think she knows something about human behavior. She has unusual insights into our issues, personal and social, as well as a special warmth, which helps us to look more honestly at ourselves. Plus, whatever the question, Granny uses music and humor to deliver a message that has universal applicability and addresses the heart of the matter. So even if you haven't submitted a question for this show, you may very well discover Granny's comments to other viewers answer questions you don't even know you have. Be aware that Granny answers all questions in the order she receives them, so get in your question as soon as possible. And so now, here's Granny.
Welcome to Granny's Place. I noticed I was fidgeting a little bit in the beginning when you were talking.
Oh.
I wonder if that means something.
I wonder.
Everything always means something, but I'm not going to take the time to figure that out. Anyway, we're very happy to be with, and I would like to reinforce what Sweet Baby James just said. Get in your questions early because we are getting questions. Mm-hmm. And so the sooner you get them in, I don't know if we'll be able to do all of the questions we got this week, but if not, don't worry. You will be on the top of the list for next week. So
That's
get those questions in early.
Good. Okay,
yes.
Ready for the first question?
I don't know. Yes.
We'll find out, won't we?
Yeah.
Okay, this is from Anonymous. Granny, I have a lot of self-doubt. What steps can I take to overcome the negative little voice in my head?
Woo! Self-doubt, my favorite subject. You know why it's my favorite subject?
Why is that, Granny?
Well, you know why it's my favorite subject.
Well, tell us.
Well, because I am full of self-doubt.
Oh, no.
Now, you probably think, oh, well, because I get up here and I'm talking and I've done a million workshops and I've written 6 books and these are my 6 books and my 4 CDs of music, which, by the way, you can download free on the website, theinnerrevolution.org, or my music one. But anyway, you would think that with all of that and I've been doing intuitive counseling, like you said, for 38 years, and I'm really good at it, and I'm still racked with self-doubt. So what does that tell you? The clue is that self-doubt doesn't necessarily have anything to do with accomplishments or capacities.
Yeah.
What do you think of them, apples?
Yeah, I like to think that applies to me, too.
Well, of course. All of us. No, I'm not saying we're all super competent. I'm not saying that any of us is even competent, much less super competent. But self-doubt is about doubting the self, not the ego. Now, what does that mean? It means that there's some essential part of you, that is yourself, that you have come to doubt. And see, now that's different from, self-awareness. Let's look at ourselves as like somebody says something to me and I have to really think about it, or I'm not sure of something, so I need to do more research, and that's all about exploration. But self-doubt, and I don't know if this is the way you meant it, but I bet you that deep down it is. That means there is something essential about you that you came to doubt at an early age. Now the question is why?
Yeah.
Right, you know me. It's always about why.
Yeah.
Self-doubt. So I made a discovery about myself recently that I have had a lot of self-doubt because I've been afraid to be hurt if I didn't shrivel up. See, that's because I was in a family situation where there was someone in my life who was very competitive with me. Maybe I was competitive too. I don't think. Anyway, I think this person was very competitive with me, and I was scared of the person. And so if I just kind of like shrunk down and acted childish or stupid or didn't know what I was doing, then I felt safer. See what I mean? Like, get small, get small, get small. Because it was bad enough the way he reacted. So I noticed in myself, when I thought back, that even as an adult, I've had a lot of trouble holding myself as myself with this person, right? So it was a survival mechanism to doubt myself, and the self that I was doubting was my inner self. Now, let's say your mother says to you, "You are so beautiful and you should go to the Miss America pageant," and you're saying, "Well, gee, Mom, I don't know, I have a lot of self-doubt, am I going to really, become the queen of the prom or whatever it is?" Well, who the heck knows? I mean, there's so many incredible women, and who knows who the judges are going to judge as being...
Speaking of judges, do you suppose some of your self-doubt might have come from negative judgments you received from that other person that you ever referred to?
Oh, that's an interesting thought, but wait, let me finish with Miss America. Okay. Because I want to make a contrast first. So, somebody says to you, "I don't think you're going to make it as Miss America." Well, that person is probably right. Now, that person isn't doubting yourself, they're doubting your chances.
Right.
Right? So your chances of doing that. Now, let's say you're trying to discover a cure for the common cold. Well, and I say, well, that's been, people have been working on that for a long time, right? So I'm doubting your chances. That's different from doubting you. You're not capable of doing an experiment. You're not capable of, entering a talent contest, or you're not capable of something. So on the one hand, we're talking about doubting a certain outcome, and the other is doubting you. Do you have what it takes to stand up and go onto that pageant? Now, not that I'm recommending that women do that, but you're getting the distinction that I'm making.
Yeah.
So, and it's even more so when we're talking about something more intrinsic, like I'm doubting my intelligence, I'm doubting my capacity to be loved. Now, I think that where the judgment part comes in is just the opposite. Somebody might be doubting you because they want to puff themselves up. So they're putting out a negative thought to you because they want to think that it's like in Cinderella, the stepsisters,
Stepsisters.
Right? Now, this is a very awful story because it's all about beauty and all that nonsense, but it's also about inner beauty, right? Of course, we can say. But just the point that I'm making is they were trying to puff themselves up, and so they had to make Cinderella feel bad about herself, right? To make themselves feel better. So that is a lot of what that's about. And so when someone has judgments about you, that may be a defense on their part, that it's not even true, that they know damn well that it's the opposite, James, that it's not, that their negative judgment isn't true about you, and that's why they're putting it on you. If somebody thinks that, if I think that you're a better musician than I am, for example, and that really bothers me, I might want to undermine you and say, I don't know. At your age, I don't think you can do this, right? That might be a way of me making you go into a negative place so you don't even try, and then you lose automatically, right?
Yeah.
Or I might want to put self-doubt into you because I don't want to be embarrassed that you're trying something and I'm not. It's like, that'll never happen. It'll never work. You'll never find a man. And then that makes it okay for me to hang out, eating bonbons in my room night after night and not even trying to meet somebody.
So what steps would you suggest to be taken to overcome these kinds of things?
Thank you. It's a great question. I think what you need to do, Ms. or Mr., or them, is to ask yourself, when did it start? What was it that was being doubted?
Mm-hmm.
When did yourself feel like a threat, and to whom? See? And we can be very understanding, compassionate towards whoever. It might have been your whole family. It might be one person. It might be a sibling. Any of these things is possible. And ask yourself, when did it start? And for whom did I feel the necessity to make myself small so that I didn't threaten them? Mm-hmm. So why did I buy into that? Or who might have been threatened by me and who tried to impose those negative judgments on me? Mm-hmm. That would be my suggestion. That is a great starting point, right?
Yeah.
And once we understand, then you can do a redo, like what I call a redo, which is, and other people do stuff like this too, is you go back into that situation and you stand up to that person and say, I know you're trying to make me feel small and stupid, but I'm not. I may be small, but, or whatever it is, you're making me feel awkward or gawky or clumsy or incompetent in some way, and give it your best shot. You want to kill me? Kill me. I mean, in a way, of course, you're not really inviting. Like if somebody comes in with a gun and you don't say, "Oh yes, go ahead and kill me." I don't mean that, but I mean if you have like a sibling or something where, and you're, the message that you're giving is, give it your best shot. Mm-hmm. I'm not backing down anymore, and I'm not going to implode on myself just for you.
Yes, wonderful. Ready for the next?
I am, but are you?
Okay. This one is from Anonymous. Hi, Granny. I have a couple of friends who talk about other people and claim they are not gossiping. They say it's venting. When does venting become gossip, and how do I intervene to keep conversations away from gossip?
Ooh, wonderful question. I think that a lot of people are going to see the relevance of that question, right? Well, first of all, what is the difference between gossip and venting? Well, the purpose of gossip is to put someone else down, and often to bond with someone by putting someone else down. So like, if I'm feeling insecure about my relationship, let's say, that's my relationship sitting over there. So, and then there's somebody that I can talk negatively about. And I know that he's going to agree. So I come and I say, and then he says, and then suddenly we're bonding, right? It's like Democrats and Republicans. You may doubt your own party, but hey, when you start talking about the other guy, this is a great bonding experience, right? I mean, the whole political scene is based on that. Dump the other guy, and then we'll all stick together, right? Whatever we do, we don't want them to win. So there is a pattern there that we see in people, that's the way we bond with each other, is by gossiping, talking negatively, putting down others.
It's a way, but not the only way.
No.
Yeah,
Thank you.
A way.
No, it's a way. So that's one thing that we have to understand. So then it can be a way of trying to make myself feel better or look better. It's a way of putting someone else down for the purpose of making me feel better. And it's a way of bonding. Now, venting may be just like an explosion of emotion that I just can't hold in this negativity anymore. It's like, oh my God, do you you know what happened to me today? This happened, and then I'm looking for sympathy, empathy, support. Okay, give me some sympathy, empathy, and support. But the purpose then becomes to release that energy so you can go on and say, well, I wonder why someone is doing that. Maybe I'm being a little harsh in my judgment, or that really was a tough experience, but, I want to go into a place of forgiveness. So then you're venting, because venting has a place. It's like letting steam out of the whatever it is, right? Whatever that
kettle,
is.
The kettle?
The kettle, or you have a thing here and it goes, right? So you're releasing steam in order to balance yourself, right? Whereas gossip is being mean in order to elevate or secure yourself, right? That is the difference between gossip and venting. So, what do I have to say? So here is a way of knowing whether something is gossip or venting. Of course, I've just described to you on one level. But for instance, there is a difference in the sound. Okay. Gossip. Okay, that was not Chinese. That was one form of gossip, right? You can just feel it in the energy, right?
Yeah.
Versus venting.
Yeah.
Right?
I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired.
Right.
I'm not going to take it anymore.
Right, exactly. And then, you get sane. Hopefully. Or let me see what else could be a good form of gossip. So anyway, that's one way to tell. Now, you also asked me, how can you intervene? Well, you can ask yourself a question. How does it make you feel when people are gossiping? Why does it bother you? Well, it bothers me too, by the way. It bothers me because it's judgmental, unfair. The person... See, I got a rule from higher consciousness. I used to call God, I call it the universe, I don't care what you call it, just listen to it. And I got this rule a long time ago. Do not say behind someone's back what you would not say to their face. So one way to do it is say, if you really feel that way, why don't you say it to their face if they haven't been? Because a gossip is usually behind the back. Because you're too scared to put it out there. First of all, the other person might contradict you and say you're completely wrong. That is not the way it was. And then you'll have egg on your butt, right? Because your butt's in your face. But there's another... and, a lot of times we don't want to risk telling somebody, and then we'll have every kind of, oh no, I can't say that to them because I'll lose my job, for example, right? Oh yeah, protect your butt. Well then, vent, but shut up, right? But you could ask those people, first of all, if they really feel that way about this person, why not go and try to help them by talking to them or by offering them solutions? Do they want to help? Well, obviously not. If they're really gossiping, they don't want to help the person. They just want to make that person look bad. I mean, I've been in offices. Oh my God. There was so much gossip. It was unbelievable. So this one and that one and this one and that one, especially the boss. And I was a number one bad girl in that respect. So that was before I had my spiritual awakening, 1978. Okay. So you can say, why don't you confront the person if it's bothering you? Or why don't you try to help the person if you see that they're really struggling? And why don't you share honestly with that person? Okay, now for you, you're trying to confront your friends. You can talk to your friends just like your friends should talk to other people, right? And I think you probably have, but if not, I just want to put this in, right? Because a lot of people are listening to the show. Millions are listening to the show and are hanging on every word. So they want to know. So what suggests...
No doubt.
No, doubt. No doubt. No self-doubt. No self-doubt. So you say to your friends, this makes me feel really icky inside. You know, I bet you don't feel very good either. How do you feel when you gossip? Right?
Yeah.
I know when I do it, I feel dirty inside. Like icky, like I'm doing something ugly, shameful, right? It's like, but of course, then I have to say it even louder and justify it even more by really proving that the person is wrong because I'm compensating for the fact that I feel icky inside because I shouldn't be doing this, right? So you can tell them, I feel icky inside when we engage in this, and I'm wondering how you feel.
Yeah.
You know, try to help them to ungossip.
Yeah.
But if it keeps going on and on and on and on, maybe you need to look for different friends.
Okay, very good. Very good. Next question. This is from Karen. Granny, my 40-year-old daughter and I are not talking now. A rather mutual decision. She has been viciously unkind and hateful towards me with no explanation as to why she seems to have so much contempt for me. She's a therapist, but seems to lack insight and seems to have no interest into looking at her own behavior as regards her relationship with me. I was tired of her taking pot shots at me every time we connected. I'm very conscious and intentional, and it seems the best right thing to do, even though it sucks, and I wished it wasn't what it is. Ironically, my adoptive parents...
Well, what is the best right thing to do?
Yeah, that is the question. She, at the time, she thought that was the best right thing to do.
What was to...
Not to communicate with each other.
Oh, okay. I didn't hear that. Okay.
Yeah, that's why it was a mutual decision.
Yeah.
Ironically, my adoptive parents were very abusive, and from whom I have been estranged, and are now reconnected, and it's quite wonderful and amazing. I have done a huge amount of healing work that has made this possible. Ironic, I reunite with my parents and am now estranged from my daughter. What's up with that?
Karen, bless you. You know, I am so glad that you wrote this because I remember you writing in before about this problem and that, you know, you were looking for a therapist. That I thought that your daughter had said that she was going to go into therapy with you, and I don't hear anything about that. So I'm so glad that you've written back and makes us feel like we're friends even though we don't know each other, you know. And I like when people write back, you know, because that makes them part of our community and, you know, we get to follow your progress in your life. So I just want to say that I'm so happy that you wrote. So, Karen, the fact is, of course, I'm not hearing her side. So, you know, I can't really be definitive about anything because I don't know what she would say. She would say, oh, but I told you, I wrote you a 3-page letter last Christmas. And I sat, you know, we had 6 years of therapy last year. And, you know, and I've told you over and over. So, but let's say, so I can't say for sure because I don't know what she would say. But if what you are saying is true, and since you're writing in onto this show and you're a listener, of course I want to think that you're right because you're right, our listener. But anyway, if you are right, then let it go. I mean, I would take out a glass of water because that's all I drink and toast to the fact that the universe has brought you family just when you feel like you were losing it. And also some hope that parent-child relationships can be healed over time. I mean, look at the amazing thing that has happened between you and your adoptive parents. I mean, that shows you that nothing is, I mean, your daughter is 40, did you say?
Yes.
Okay, so you're not a spring chicken. And yet you were able to have a healing with your adoptive parents. So it is never too late. So I would just get some faith from seeing that, put it out to your daughter that one more time you're ready to talk if she wants to. But in the meantime, you wish her the best. And you go on and you just enjoy your life as much as you can. You know, just because our children are our relatives doesn't mean that we're going to have a good relationship with them. In fact, often we don't. And everybody has to change. Everybody has to be willing to sit down at the table and look at themselves. And you're saying she isn't. Well, then why do you even feel bad about this anymore? Let's just celebrate your newfound relationship and come to Granny's Kitchen. Make some friends. Now, Granny's Kitchen. This is a plug. 15 minutes after the live show. So if you're watching this on Thursday, it's not going to happen, right? But 15 minutes after the live show at 6:30 Pacific, which makes it 9:30 Eastern, and some of our fans are on the East Coast, and bless them for staying up. We have a conversation that I lead, and there are if you look at the post, there are instructions on how to get onto Granny's Kitchen, and then we talk about all these topics, and you could share with us, more specifically. It is recorded, but you can stay anonymous just by not showing up on your face, or you don't have to stay anonymous because we put it in our archives on YouTube. So if you miss a Granny's Kitchen, it's always on Granny Rocks TV on YouTube. Like one of our listeners, she came on to Granny's Kitchen the other day. She was in the East Coast. I think she fell asleep. So she said, I got disconnected. So you can always check on it later at Granny's Kitchen on Granny Rocks TV on YouTube. But there's ways to get into that conversation either by phone or internet. Internet is better than we can see your face. But it all comes through online. You have to have an internet connection, which I assume you have because you're watching this, right?
That's right.
So we would love for you to join us and make some more friends and have a ball. Let it go. Live your life. It's hard. There's so much guilt associated with being a parent, but it is definitely a two-way street. You may be responsible for some of your daughter's miserable attitude, if in fact she has one, but you're not entirely responsible, and certainly at the age of 40, she is responsible. So let her come towards you. Be a beacon of light by being happy.
Okay. Granny, I wonder if we have any more time for another question. We've only got a couple of minutes left on the show here, but we do have another question or two.
We have more questions.
What do you think?
What's the next question?
Let's see. This is from Elise, and it's a relatively long question. But you might have a start on answering it, or maybe hold off until the next show.
What do we have, like 3 minutes left?
2 minutes.
2 minutes, okay. So tell me what the questions are that we have left so that people know what we're going to be answering next week, and we will then also hopefully have time for more questions.
Okay, Elise's question has to do with wanting to get some advice, some tips on how to create her own personal individual religion.
I love the question! Elise, do not despair that I did not. I am totally looking forward to answering your question. You may be surprised by what I say, but then if you've been watching Granny's Place, nothing would surprise you. And do we have any other questions that are in the queue?
We do have one more question that's coming up, and let's get this up in front of us.
See, it's kind of fun when we can give you a heads up about some of the questions that are coming up next week.
Oh, this next question is from a person who has a problem with dealing with fear, which becomes terror. And so she would like some help on being less afraid. And,
she or he? She or he?
I'm not sure.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, my God. Well, my heart goes out to you. I'm sorry that we did not have a chance to answer your questions today. But tune in. These two questions we know will be at the top of the list. And then whatever comes after afterwards, I'll do the best that I
Yes.
can. So let me
And also,
tell
I wanted to
people-
make an announcement about the retreat that we have coming up.
yes.
Would you like to talk about that a
Well,
little
first, before we talk about the retreat, I
Yes.
just want to say, if you don't know how to send in a question, you look at the post
Okay.
where this was posted,
Mm-hmm.
and right, I think in the first line, there's a link. Click, boom, you're right there. Ask your question, and I will do the best that I can to answer it. Yes, the retreat.
Yes, we have a retreat at McKenzie River in Oregon. We have a place there. It's a wonderful setting right on the river.
With the mountains and the forest.
And this will be the last weekend in October, the weekend of October 27th, 28th. And Granny, what's the theme of this retreat?
Co-creating the life we want. And what that's about is, if you've been watching this show, you've heard me talking a lot about the situation, the conditions of our society, and how they contribute. Like, I didn't talk about that today, but one of the reasons that people gossip or create self-doubt for other people is because we're living in a universe where people feel like they have to compete for attention, affection. There's one prince, and so people they feel that they have to be this way. They don't even know that they're being this way. It's a conditioned response. So I didn't really address that much today, but every single one of these questions, if I could spend a little more time, and then I'd never get to anybody else's question, there's something about the way we organize our society that feeds this negative energy. Why does anybody need to put anybody down, or put doubt in anybody's heart? Or hide.
Yeah.
Like the Karen's daughter seems to be hiding whatever it is that's going on for her. Who knows? But why do we have that? So what we're going to be doing at this retreat is we're going to give you an opportunity to experience yourself as a different person. Because the theory is that just about everybody would choose kindness if we could. And we certainly see that our nation today is ripped apart by negativity. It's hardly an overabundance of kindness, right?
Yeah.
And why is that? So let's say we know that it has to do with the conditions under which we live and the way that we're raised. So we are going to co-create situations in little, adventures where we can be different from the way we've been that we don't really like. So this is way cool. And we have a flyer about it on Facebook. But I think you can also find out the information if you go to the innerrevolution.org website, and somewhere on there you're going to see something about
The retreat.
the retreat.
There's one more thing I'd like to add, which is if you cannot attend in person, you can attend online via video conference.
And
So
you
we
can
can see
attend in
you, you
person.
can interact,
Yes.
and you can participate fully.
Yes, thank you, James. And also, we have another satellite. I'm not going to be there, but there's another group of people who will be grouping in San Diego, California. And it's from 10 in the morning on Saturday to 6 o'clock or whenever on Sunday. So, yes, you can go to the San Diego satellite. You can come up here to Oregon and work with me in person instead of via the internet. And as Sweet Baby James said, you can participate via the internet anywhere. And we probably have an email address of somebody that you can contact about this, and we'll be prepared next time, right?
Okay, yeah.
We will be so prepared.
So prepared.
So prepared. Well,
Okay then.
thank you so much for joining us today.
Yes.
Hang out for 15 minutes-ish. Go find out how to get onto Granny's Kitchen. We have wonderful new people joining us, and everybody is made to feel at home. It's the way a kitchen should be.
Yeah. Granny's Kitchen.
Granny's Kitchen.
Bye for now.
See you next week.